Welcome to episode 7 of PonderCast by Ponder Media. I'm your host, Ian Fox, and today we are here with the entire roster of Bugsy. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good.
How are you?
I'm okay. But that's not my episode.
I hear you.
So,
it is every episode's your episode.
Yeah, honestly. Welcome
It's
to my
yours.
world. Could we just kind of start with going down the line a little bit, each introducing yourself and what you do, and maybe like a bug fact if you have like a cool bug fact or something that you want to share, maybe like a little fact about a bug or something?
Yeah.
You go first.
Oh, I'm Emily. This isn't a bug fact, but I was like looking very crazy because there's a child running outside just now with like a foxtail, and I thought it was an animal, but it was so humanly. See, there's the child. It was incredible. That's my bug fact. If you saw me looking crazy at the beginning, I play guitar and I sing.
Alright. My name is Al. I don't have necessarily a practical bug fact unless you were to know me. Whenever there's a bug in my house, I don't kill it.
This is true. Even the centipede.
Yep.
Oh, my bug fact similarly is I'm the person that people call to slip
That's
the
what I do.
paper
Me
under
too.
the cup.
Me too.
Oh, my name's Griffin. I play guitar. Oh man, I'm the one who says the bug. Well, okay,
Yeah,
not
no,
all
you're
the
the
time,
one.
but I
Master?
love. This one is a favorite of mine, and I've been saving it because we just released a new song called Tiger Beetle, and the tiger beetle is the fastest animal in the world for its size. It can like move its own body like length quicker than any other thing can.
Damn.
They're super cool, and it's one of my favorite Bugsy songs. So.
My name is Shannon. I play the bass and I sing, and I don't have a bug fact, but I learned recently. No, I do have a bug fact. If you put the bees in the dark, they'll fall asleep regardless of what time of day it is.
Me too.
Just like me.
Sing with chickens.
For real.
Sing with chickens.
Has anyone ever seen? You know what?
Shout out Hayden
No,
for
pop
telling me
off.
that bug fact.
If you guys have any extra time and Google at your tips, look up pictures of bees peeing mid-flight. It's really cool.
Dude, they just like let it out.
They just let it out. It's so funny. They're the most,
Always on the grind, you
It's
know.
adorable.
Gotta appease the queen.
They're like the horses of the bug world. Y'all ever seen a horse walk and poop at the same time?
Yes,
It's
I was the
crazy.
horse camp counselor.
Oh, whoa. New lore. That's crazy.
I have a
So
lot
yes,
of
I have.
thoughts about the like mating patterns of bees because
It's the eusociality thing.
well it's the queen. There's two types of females. There's the queen and then one that's not.
Yes.
Anyways, it
Imagine
doesn't matter,
being
but
her.
it matters. It's so cool.
It's a weird gene. Yeah.
I'm really
I know what
into
you're
like
talking about.
how animals mate and like
I know what you're talking
bees
about.
have really
It's
cool
re-
chromosomal distribution
Yes.
and how it like affects how they.
It's the eusociality thing. Ants do it too. It's also an ant thing, and I think there's a couple other.
I think the
animals that do it.
females who don't become the queen are like X, and then they don't have a second one.
Yeah.
And then the males are XY, and then the
No.
females are XX, or maybe it's the other way
I think
around.
it's
but
the
it's something
males
like
that
that
don't have.
And they don't have XY chromosomes. It's like BB. Or
But the
something
males
like
are the ones that only have one chromosome, and so
Oh,
it's like
okay.
a lot of people are like they're not even animals, they're not real.
mean, they're
Male bees don't. I mean, it's really
Misandry in the world.
in the bee world.
In the bee world.
You're not a real man. if you only have
Matriarchal.
one chromosome.
Well, I thought it was more
Society
like a
bullshit.
you're not a real fucking. I don't know. Can we swear?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sorry.
you can swear. It's
I don't
whatever.
know.
I'm not gonna put the bees down anymore. It's pretty.
Well, also we are
I love
totally imposing our societal understanding of gender onto the mating
bees.
patterns of creatures, and the way we are assigning them as like assigned bee at birth,
but
Hey,
they-
Bab.
assigned queen bee at birth.
Akbab.
All right.
Anyways,
Next question.
So, you are also all musicians.
Yeah.
So, we talked a little bit about the history of Bugsy from Al's perspective in episode 1, which you should have already watched. If you haven't, you can do that. I'm going to give you some time to do that. But, now it's episode 7, and we're talking about whole Bugsy lore. So, for each of you, how did all of you kind of meet as individuals, and like when did the first iteration of the 4 of you as Bugsy form? Open forum.
I met Emily on Facebook. That's the end of mine. And then I went to their apartment. after class at MCTC.
Yeah, we went to community college together. I also went to community college with Griffin. We were lab partners.
We were lab partners.
We were raising a family of worms together.
It was pretty cool.
And I was in that class when I started in Bugsy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Me and Shannon, the first time we practiced, I was like, had just had a meltdown. I was crying. We had no amp in the apartment. That was part of the reason why I had the meltdown. I asked Griffin while he was at work if he wanted to play music, but I was scared.
Was I at work?
Yeah, you were.
Wow. Yeah.
And I called Al and was like, "You wanna rock out?"
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
And the two of you had already played music together.
Yeah. Yeah. Emily and I have known each other for like probably a little over a decade.
I can't believe you just said those words.
Yeah, and then like I was saying in my joint, I was going to school in Chicago at the time, and then it was a Friday super specifically, and I was like tweaking, and Emily called me and I was like, do you want to play music? And I was like, yeah.
I think I messaged you on Snapchat.
That sounds accurate. But then the first time I ever met the two of them, if I had to guess, it was the 19th of April, 2019. That was the first practice we ever had.
That sounds about right. Because
Like
you were here for Easter, right?
Yep.
And then the second time we met was like the day before our first show.
Yeah.
And I remember we had been playing a lot of our old songs, just the three of us, like counting really hard or like with a metronome, and they all were like very like kind of sounded like people were like swimming. I felt like we were underwater, and then Al came and started playing the drums, and Griffin and I looked at each other and we were like, oh, this is what it's supposed to sound like.
There was a few songs where I was like, this kind of like honestly sounds like a mess. Like, I know we're doing our best here, but I was like there were a few songs where I was like,
this is so much.
Is this even going to be a song? What are we
Yeah.
going to do? And then the drums came and it was like, okay.
Yeah.
It made sense all along. We just couldn't hear it.
We just didn't have the drums.
Yeah.
You said that was April 19th, 2019?
Yeah, that was the same. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
There's a fun photo from that night. I'm going to throw it up.
Okay.
Y'all will see on December 15th, which is also the 1 month anniversary of your most recent EP. So if you are watching this on release date, you can check out this here project, and it will be exactly 1 month old. This is the first project you guys have put out since 2019. Do you want to talk a little bit just about the new EP and like how those songs came together and
Yeah.
any favorites potentially?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tiger Beetle has been one of my favorite Bugsy songs for years now, honestly. I don't know. A lot of these songs existed live for so long.
Well, since 2021.
I guess, yeah.
So, like, the oldest one is, like, 2 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a lot of the songs have, like, a lot of, I mean, I don't know, they've developed, like, really intensely over that time period, playing them live so much.
And I think that's a really cool way to write music, just being like, okay, this is the idea, and then we just play it live because we think we like how it sounds, and then we keep thinking of new things. Like Tiger Beetle, for example, I think that's the oldest song. Like,
Soup and Tiger
Soup
Beetle
and Tiger
came in
Beetle.
like the same package.
Yeah. But like the bass part I played for Tiger Beetle, I don't think I finished writing until like the week that we recorded it.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of, because there was like one part of
Yeah,
the song
well,
where it like never really worked, and then we did one thing differently and it worked like 2 years or like a year and a half into the song being
Yeah.
a piece, and that was always really cool. My favorite song is Recluse, though.
It's fun to work on. I don't know. It's been a long time, and we have had a lot of like steps to get to. I know it's like 6 songs, and it's a long time to take 6 songs, but there was like at least 10 other songs.
There is like a good like 20 songs.
That,
That
like-
will never be. Maybe.
So there was a lot of like steps, and we recorded some stuff that ended up not working for various. It was like there was a lot that when it like this was like attempt 2 to get something together, and I feel like it's very like kind of like a relief of a burden of having not done something in a long time too, to have it out. Like, it's kind of like okay, we did it. We did it before, we did it again, and we can do it again.
Yeah.
True.
Also, every like musical, every part of this like specific EP is like a post 2020 thing too. The world that you're like working in. So I think a lot of it is colored by that, I guess, and also just this release feels really different than the last one. You know.
Which,
we're like,
for context, was in February 2020.
Which
Yeah.
was February 2020.
Before a pretty major world event
Immediately
that changed a
before
lot
that.
of things.
Yeah.
Including
Really close.
local
It's a
music.
major world event. Yeah.
And so I think because of that, the follow-up has just like been a process that may never be repeated because it was just a really unique situation to be writing music in and performing music in afterwards.
I feel like when you release music, the songs always feel old to the person releasing them because they have to be, because there is just like an order that things have to happen in.
Mhm.
But a great deal of these songs are, in the scheme of things, pretty new. Like, I feel like some of the newest ones are like around a year old, which is really like
It's not
very
that
quick
old.
for a song to like start as an idea and then
And be
become a
released.
recorded product that is released.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
a lot of it too that is very, very like, even though it feels old to us because we like toured playing some of the songs, we played them like 100 times,
Been in our
100 million
brains.
times. But they are, in terms of like speed of working through it, pretty, at least a couple of them are pretty like new.
Yeah. I'd say, like, to that, too, like, you're saying, so, like, Soup and Tiger Beetle are, like, that was, like, 2 summers ago. Summer 21 when those songs came to exist. And then both Town Crier and Oh Well were advents of about a year ago. Those kind of came, like, one after one another. And yeah, I mean, like, the process of this and Teratoma are, like, very different for a lot of reasons. One thing that because when we did Teratoma, like, it's not that we weren't rehearsed, but we just, like, didn't really know each other, or at least I didn't really know them.
We didn't
so,
know
like,
I was like,
I guess I'm not trying to project that onto y'all, but, like, the song, like, we were rehearsed, but, like, we also, like, didn't really know each other. This time, we know each other a lot. And we were also rehearsed. However, I think, like, one thing that's really cool specifically about, like, the song Worm is, like, that song kind of, like, exists in, like, a weird vacuum because, like, that song only came to be, like, 2 weeks before we recorded the thing. And, like, we rehearsed it as much as we could in those 2 weeks. We recorded it, and then we never play it live. So
played it
that's, like,
once.
kind of, like, a little twice, I think. I don't know. Yeah,
I know we
but,
played
like,
it once in a blizzard in Iowa.
And I was sitting on a chair because I was having weird neck spasms.
That was like one of the craziest.
And we had a really good dinner.
Yeah.
We had a shout out Blossom Chocolate
and
Blossom
they gave us green coffee.
Gave us green coffee.
Shout out to green
Which
coffee.
made my stomach hurt
It's
so
the
bad.
most bitter thing in the world.
Like
I
the
drank-
color green.
Mhm.
Well, it's like unroasted coffee beans.
Yeah,
So
they
they're more
extract it.
they extract the caffeine from unroasted coffee beans, and it's more caffeine than like coffee.
It was called Cobra
Second
Venom.
episode in a row that has dealt with the coffee roasting process.
Oh yeah.
Go watch episode 6 with Vitality Roasting. Anyways,
That's dope.
I also
plug.
work for the same. Yeah.
No shit.
Vitality
Mhm.
is owned by the same person who owns the place I work.
No
That is-
shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sick.
Big.
we receive-
Coffee culture everywhere.
Yeah,
So
coffee
true.
culture and music culture in Minneapolis is like really yeah.
You see a barista and you don't ask, "Are you in a band?" You ask, "What, band are you
in?"
What band are you in? Yeah.
Yep.
I know.
I've gotten recognized the most at my jobs.
Yeah.
What does that kind of feel like to be like recognized in the city?
I'm always just like, yeah. And then they're like, cool. And I'm like, and then I walk away. It's also, like, there's been a few times when I, like, talk to people and then we were having a conversation and then I'm like, oh, I'm in a band. And they're like, yeah, you're in a band because, like, every other person in the city is in a band, which is
Yeah.
okay and awesome. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm in a band. And they're like, okay, what band are you in? And then I like say, I'm in Bugsy, and they're like, oh! And I'm like, oh yeah! Like, I recognize you, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt weird being like, I'm in a band, because it's like, what, it's like, people recognize me after I say I'm in Bugsy. That's happened a few times, where I'm just like, yep, I'm just at school right now, or like at work, or
doing regular life stuff.
Yeah.
So I've gotten incorrectly recognized a few times in my life, which is really funny.
Yeah.
There was a series of multiple years in a row where I would regularly get mistaken for Grace Baldwin. All the time. Like, I'd be out and they'd be like, aren't you Grace Baldwin? At the time, Grace was with, like, Last Import. So it's like, aren't you the bass player for Last Import? And I would be like, I am not. But we do both really like My Chemical Romance. So I am so glad.
Everybody likes My Chemical Romance.
But, like, me
Even
and
if you don't listen
Grace,
to them.
like, we communicate exclusively in over text about guinea pigs and, like, My Chemical Romance. So, like, I'm in good company, you know? I got incorrectly recognized. We got incorrectly recognized as Gully Boys. They're like, are you guys Gully Boys?
And it was
we're
me, too, and I was just like, no.
Not even close.
Yeah.
So y'all went on tour for quite a long time this summer. It was a very lonely apartment. And it was fine. It was fine. I got through it. But y'all were gone for just over a month.
A month.
Exactly a month.
Damn, okay.
Yeah.
Y'all were,
It was cute.
with Skating Polly, you were generally in the whole eastern half of the United States.
Yeah.
Talking about, like, being recognized a little bit, what was the kind of response in places that were not the Twin Cities? Because, like, obviously, y'all are all from here, the band is based here, but, like, this is the era of streaming, where, like, you can find any artist you want on any platform. Going to other places, like, was there any cities that kind of shocked you? Like, oh, people here are really listening to Bugsy. Like, folks know the words in whatever city we're in.
It varied a lot. I feel like I get more and more surprised by Chicago every time. Though, like, we played... This wasn't while we were on tour, but we played Chicago 3 times this summer. And at the third Chicago show we played in August, I looked out and there was, like, a group of people in the crowd singing an unreleased song.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah. It was, yeah.
I feel like some cities, obviously, there's, like, not necessarily anyone who knows who we are. And then there's other times where I'm like, if one person comes up and is like, I love, and then they say a song by name, I'm kind of like, what?
Something that I always think is cool is, like, before we did this tour that lasted for a month last summer with Skating Polly, we did like a 2-week long Midwest, like, little circuit, and we got, like, a couple places. The furthest down we went was Nashville, and then we're kind of just, like, in that general Midwestern area. And there were a lot of people who came out to those shows, and I saw most of them again when we went back to the city that we saw them in last time. So there were, like, a lot of people who I had just, like, seen from the immediate last time I had been in that town, which was really cool, you know, that the people come out like that.
Yeah.
I feel like Hard to Breathe was also always the song where I would, like, even if no one had said that they knew who we are, that was, like, the song where I'd, like, look out and be like, there was always, like, at least, for the most part, there were some exceptions, but there was usually, like, someone singing, there's usually someone singing at least that song, so I'd be like, well, I guess you probably, if you're singing along, I guess you know, which was always, like, a little bit of a surprising, but I feel like I could really gauge how well an audience, how familiar they were with us based on that song.
Yeah.
Coming out of the tour, Al, you talked a little bit about how, like, this process was different recording this last EP than it was to do Teratoma.
Yeah.
Going from, like, the band has formed in the past year and recording an EP to, like, this band is 4 years old, you've toured multiple times, you went across the country for a month together. What did you take away from that experience going into recording the new EP?
Those things did not overlap. It was recorded.
Oh.
Yeah, it was recorded before we went on tour.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like, we had toured, but not the long one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't... To get at that, though, like... I feel like that just, like, gives me, like, not like more of an incentive to do stuff, but like going on tour is like it's honestly just like something I never thought that I would be able to do. Like it's not like, and I can't, and in that same vein, I can't even say that I ever like dreamed of doing it or being like, oh, like I wanna, because I literally just never thought it was possible. Because that just like is a fucking crazy idea. But like after like you do it, it's like, at least like for me, it's like, okay, like we put in all of these steps just because we wanted to, and that led us to a point where like we got to go on that like initial tour. So now that just makes me want to keep putting in the steps that are after this, so like I can do that again. And then likewise, like this shit just dropped, like we're gonna do all the necessary steps for us to make it happen again. And like, I don't know. It's just like really fun to be able to exist outside of like the cities in that respect. Nothing wrong with the cities. I love y'all, but it's also like fun to like be in a place you have no idea what's going on, and it's just like I've never been in this room before. Like
Honestly, going on tour like made me realize that like I am like very much a Midwesterner, you know. And I'm just like, oh my god, it is different.
Okay, I was talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Minneapolis was a small city until like the past couple years.
Yeah.
Like I did not realize that the Twin Cities, I always in my head was like, well, obviously I would see people in like comment sections when a band would announce a tour and they'd be like, why aren't you coming to, and they'd like say some city in Ohio, and I'd be like, well, of course they're not coming to that city. That's a really small city. And I was always like, well, we're not. But I'd see no Minneapolis, and I was like, what the hell? We're like a big city.
Yeah.
And then I realized when we were on tour, I'd be like, we're from Minneapolis. And people was like, where's that? Minnesota. Where's that? And I was like, what? And then they'd be like, Indianapolis? And I'd be like, come on, you know Indianapolis, but not Minneapolis.
But
Love Indianapolis. But I always, in my head, I was like, but we're a big city. We're comparable to Chicago. And I said that the other day.
There's like 10% of the people in Minneapolis that are in Chicago.
I mean, here's the thing. In my head, I was always like, well, you can't just count Minneapolis. St. Paul and Minneapolis are right next to each other. It is comparable in size, I found out, to Seattle and Portland. And, like, San Francisco and some other cities.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, if you combine Minneapolis and St. Paul. And it is bigger than a lot of other cities.
Yeah.
But you know what? I did also realize through touring that we are so out of the way. And that's the reason. That is a huge... We're like 8 hours away.
Yeah.
We're like...
From Chicago.
I feel like it is a big disservice to the metro that it's like two very distinct cities.
yeah.
It's like when you're talking about Denver, no one's like, yeah, Denver and Arvada. It's all Denver.
Yeah.
But like there's
We
such a
should merge
distinction.
Minneapolis and St. Paul.
we-
I've been thinking this opinion.
We found out.
We can do all that.
We found out.
St. Minneapolis. Minneapolis.
I'm pretty
Minneapolis.
I'm pretty sure Boston and Cambridge have like a similar thing or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
There's a river in between them.
There's
but,
stuff.
like,
Yeah, I mean
you
that's the
can
same.
walk across the river, much
and then
like
there you are.
two other cities that we happen to be in right now. Is there any like fun specific cities that you thought were really fun in your touring experience?
yeah,
or,
dog.
like,
New
a show that
Orleans.
really stood out?
New Orleans stood out.
Orlando.
Orlando, Florida, baby.
I knew it. It was coming.
Also, New York City
That was
was
that's what I
pretty
was
cool.
gonna say. Montreal was really cool.
New York City was cool, but Orlando, that was one of the best nights of my life.
We're from the
Chicago.
Floridian in Minnesota.
I really they got the big lizards there, you know.
Oh, shit.
I
I feel like there's some cities that have.
City.
Yeah, literally.
I feel like there's some cities that have felt more and more like not like secondary Minneapolises, but like places where like I comfortably feel like we're gonna like see friends of ours, and like
Milwaukee,
Chicago. And I also know that there's people who like listen to us enough to come to shows, and like I really like going to places like that. Sorry, Mr. Fudge.
He's a little guy.
Here's
hanging
a
out down
creature
there.
running around. Mr. Fudge.
But what happened in Orlando? Aside from the lizards.
I don't
It was
know.
just like a cool show.
It just ripped.
It was really cool.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so if you watched my episode, I told you a little bit about it. But the other thing that was crazy about that show, other than the people, like, 75 people waiting outside to get in when it was 100 degrees outside.
And
like,
raining.
And it was raining, like, it was crazy conditions. But then also, like, during skating, so this wasn't during Skating Polly's set, there was about to be a song, and I forget what even song it was, but, like, everyone was, like, just on, like, the same wave, and everyone just started, like, walking very slowly in a circle together, just, like, getting ready for the drop, and then, like, Kelly just, like, stopped playing and just, like, broke out laughing, and it was just, like, everyone, I haven't said this in a really long time, but this is really the truth. Everyone in that building was sharing the same brain cell that night. All 150 people in there were sharing the same brain cell, and it was so fucking awesome.
And we love Skating Polly brain cell.
This is something that I want to say. I say this a lot, but it's like a phenomena or like a thing that happens all the time, like when we're touring or other bands are touring. But like you get really excited to go to big cities that you think are like a big deal. But like when you go to like places that like Orlando's not like a small town or anything like that. Like I have a lot of wonderful things to say about Florida, but I also have some things that I don't like so much about Florida. And so like there are a lot of places like, you know, where there is a really passionate community that doesn't have a lot of opportunities to go do what they usually like to do. So like places like when we would go to like Fargo or don't have opportunities North Carolina, like don't like get to do it, or at least it's like a very community-based thing, like when we go to those places, and it seemed like the same way in Orlando, where it was like a community that was really tight.
They were amped to be at
and and they always just like bring it so hard.
There was also a couple people wearing like shirts that I had handmade years ago.
Yeah.
Like that means that they bought merch in like 2020.
That they had online.
Online. Which I was like, again, you're in Orlando. How do you know?
I put that shirt in a package years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Damn. Oh no, he's gonna.
Oh.
If you see me look concerned, it's because I have a really naughty rabbit on the loose right now.
I love the whole chewed in the rabbit.
Yeah, he chewed. That's why.
No, that's a funny story.
We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go. It's gonna be just a second. Don't even worry about it.
No, on Slip Inside, Nate Garola's ass claps are in the recording.
It's his ass?
Yeah, he goes.
Oh, wow.
He did it into the microphone while we were clapping.
I did not know that.
Yeah, shout out Nate.
I thought it was just a clap.
Nope, he clapped his ass. He went.
That's the perfect point to jump back in.
Oh my god!
Imagine us in 2020. It was 2020, all in masks.
We're in the studio. I'm crying. Nick Rowe is slapping their ass.
Yes.
In the studio.
We're tired.
We're so tired. So tired. Oh.
You cannot go back there. You reach. I have a
What if I
rabbit.
reached over here?
Just chase him out with your hand. Yeah. Scare him.
Yeah.
Frighten him. It works.
Alright, crisis averted.
Rabbit will not be dying of gas.
Heat. We talked a little bit about both EPs. We can delve into Teratoma a bit more if you guys would like to. But there is also a number of singles, some of which are kind of partnered up, some stand on their own a little more. But one thing I also would really love to hear a bit about is the cover art process. Because there's a lot of collaging, which we talked about a little bit in Al's episode. And also dioramas, which are like diorama type.
Oh yeah, it's
That's
really
all
the
Emily.
diorama.
That's
I know
all
y'all go
Emily.
pretty crazy.
It's really cool. It's all Emily. I wish I could say I knew more about it, but it's all from their crazy smart brain.
The Teratoma art is actually in a bag on that shelf. All the artwork is actually in the corner that you can't see. Like, you can literally see Teratoma is in that box. I'm pointing. That's not helpful. But Teratoma is my hair and my teeth and some buttons and some letters. And I just took a picture of it one night at like 5 in the morning. I was like sitting there like a genius. I figured it out. Overwhelming and Talk to You were kind of recorded in the same bout. They were originally going to go and be part of an album, but then because of this whole pandemic business, we were like, maybe we should like take a break from going to a studio in person for a while. And then we just released those as standalone singles separately, but the art kind of goes together because they both have the same like pink construction paper, but like it was like a bunch of drawings and collages and like pictures. They kind of had no meaning with the song. It was just like, I was, again, kind of just like going crazy in my. I was at my parents' house when I made both of those. Going crazy in my parents' house in the summer of 2020.
Oh yeah.
And then, then the other 2 singles were also gonna be the starts of an album. So you see the trend here. It's like 2 singles that were going to be parts of an album, and in both cases, that's not how it went down. But the next 2 single artworks was also collaging stuff, and also I did most of that digitally. I kind of don't like the artwork for those as much as the other ones. Not gonna lie. But, yeah. And then the singles for this were a diorama, and one night, like, Al came over, and I had, like, this, like, diorama that I've had since I was a kid that my grandpa, like, built, and it was, like, a model of, like, the house that I lived in, like, it's, like, modeled after that, which is kind of cute and funny, except they didn't put a bathroom in. So, not that that matters, but just in case you were wondering, there's no bathroom in the model of the house.
The thing is, like, about the Now I Spend All of My Time Alone is such a mouthful. The thing about the Now I Spend All of My Time Alone artwork is that, like, there was kind of, like, 3 different, like, iterations of it. There was one that was kind of, like... Or, I don't know, there might have been, like, 4. Like, I don't even know, but...
Well, we did a collage.
Yeah, there was, like, a collage, which, if you look on the internet, you can find that collage. I'm not going to tell you where, but if you dig deep enough, you can find that collage on the internet.
Well, I made a few mixed media things, too, that was, like, I was doing embroidery on photography, which was really cool, and I'm going to use it at some point, but probably for standalone singles. There's a really cool one that... Yeah. There's a couple really cool ones that I did, but it was just... important that if it was a body of work that they were all coherent and in the same thing, and using like one model like made that possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, the little bloody pictures, it was originally like I was doing a lot of stuff with mixed media stuff of like sewing onto things, so I just had a bunch of pictures printed out that I like we taped into the diorama. Yeah. But they were like printed out for a different purpose originally.
It just happened one day.
And then I made a bunch of stop motions that took, like, so...
I mean, like, it turned out really cool.
It turned out really cool, but there was a few moments where I was like, I'm too, like, deep into this to give up.
Yeah.
Because I can't just do it for 2 of the singles and not all 3. And then I just remember, like, looking, like, taking all the pictures, and... like, my girlfriend was at my apartment while I was making one, and was, like, sitting on the couch while I was making it, fell asleep, woke up, like, 4 hours later, and goes, can I see it? And I hit play, and she goes, oh, that's cool, can I see the rest of it? And I was like...
This is it.
This is it! And it was, like, I don't know if you've seen that Parks and Rec episode where it was like, can a depressed person make this?
Yes. And which is also a stop motion.
And it was a stop motion, and it's like 10 seconds long, and that is exactly like how I felt like making, because I had to like put tape all over the carpet to make sure the camera's in the same place, and like it was like really, and there was a few, like if you bump it slightly it ruins the whole thing, so then you have to like, it's like a whole ordeal. When I got the bunny, there was like a stop motion for Recluse, that was the first one. I got him to jump onto the bed, and that was like because he's like hanging on a string, but he kept like it kept turning back and forth, and I needed him to like stay facing the same way, and like getting it to like stop swinging was like a nightmare, and I was like actually on the verge of tears, and when I finally hit play and saw him jumping onto the bed, I was like, this is more impressive than the moon landing, honestly. Like, this is like, I'm so glad he was able to get to where he needed to go, because
Emily could make fantastic Mr. Fox, but Wes Anderson could not make the Recluse Spotify art.
Ooh.
Spotify Canva video.
On kind of the same note as making the art, I know we all introduce ourselves, but for each of you, what was your kind of origin story with music, and like how'd you come around to being a musician, and what other creative outlets do you partake in outside of music?
I'll go because no one else is talking. My origin story with music is I heard Crazy Train on the radio when I was like 5, and I thought it was like the best song ever. And then I tried to learn how to play guitar when I was like 7, but I sucked at it because the guitar is like such a unfathomable instrument to me. Even as an adult, I'm like, damn, if I just would have stuck with it when I was 7, man, I would have been good by now. But yeah, sucked at guitar, and then one day in like 2nd grade, we like learned how to use chopsticks, and that was my first pair of drumsticks that I just was like, do-do-do-do-do. And then I did randomly get a pair of drumsticks one time, literally have no idea how they came into my possession. And then I was just like beating the shit out of the couch, and I would like write songs in my head, and I would like sing them out loud and stuff. My parents still have the tapes. There's recorded, yeah.
So much music made in your parents' house.
No,
more than we know.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I started playing the drums when I was around like 10 or so. As far as like other mediums, I definitely dip my toe into music the most, but that's also because I have like a lot of different watering holes. Like I play with like more than just Bugsy, and I also make music by myself, so I kind of have like not an endless supply, but I kind of have like a lot of different areas where I can kind of just like turn the knob and be like, all right, I'm in kind of like a different mode right now and I'm working differently. But I'd like to try to dabble into like a little bit of everything. I don't think I'm like that proficiently good at anything else. I mean, good, like not that good means anything in art, but like I don't excel at anything in the way that I excel at music, but I really enjoy like collaging, and I do enjoy writing, though I do it very infrequently, and I really enjoy like drawing and stuff too, though again, it is a very infrequent practice of mine.
You do make a lot of crafts though. Like the other day I was like, what are your plans for tonight? And I was like, I'm making a Gary the Snail shell.
Yeah.
And it needs to be the perfect.
I am kind of
3 a.m. to do the Gary show.
Yeah, I am kind of a paper mache god, to be honest. Like, I have some cool shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say you do some craft stuff. You have some projects that you work on.
Sorry, Al, were you finished?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
good.
I just started talking. I feel like I don't have like a specific moment where I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. It was like, I think I was fortunate enough to kind of be around music my entire life in some capacity, because my dad is a musician and my mom has a degree in performing arts and is like a huge Green Day head, like the biggest Green Day head in the world. So like that definitely was like a huge influence. I remember the first instrument I ever learned was the recorder. Yeah. And I was in recorder club in Wisconsin when I was 7.
Yeah.
And then I started playing piano. And then I joined choir after I moved to Minnesota. And that was my like big musical outlet for like all of high school. Is like I was in like 5 choirs my senior year. Like I was super into it. And I think what really got me into playing like music that I make now is I went to this camp for a really long time called Girls Rock and Roll Retreat through She-Rock, the nonprofit She-Rock. And that's when I saw Emily's other band for the first time, and I was like people can make music like this. And then I was in a punk band in high school. That was very silly, and it was just me and my friends, like, writing, like, the most ridiculous lyrics in the world, and me trying really hard to figure out how to play power chords a lot of the time, and then...
It's also my first band.
Yep, exactly, and then my band covered one of your band's songs in the Paper House basement. There's video evidence of it. It's very silly. And then... yeah, I was like, I'm going to be a music teacher. I'm going to be a choir teacher. I'm not doing that now. I don't want to do that anymore. But I had then, like, there was a while where I wasn't doing any music, and I just dropped out of college, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life, blah blah blah. And then I reached out to Emily, and then I reached out to Emily on Facebook, and here we are now.
It really dates us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really dates us.
We reached out on Facebook.
Well, because I knew, exactly.
I think Facebook was on its way out when that happened.
It was,
It was like the last. 2019 was like the last year where Facebook was going strong.
There were still event posts in
Yeah.
2019.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. That's what it was for. Yeah, it was
Facebook
event
wasn't
posts.
dead yet.
Events
Right.
was like
That was the
one
big thing.
feature that no other social media has done as good of a job. Because
It's-
to be
yeah.
able to look at an event and see who is going and who is not going was such like, if you like, it was a more accurate measure than tickets sold because you could see how many people were planning on going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like interested in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
And you
also,
could also see like,
You can
is someone I'm scared of going to go to this event and then choose not to go?
well, and it was
Or you could say I'm going, and then someone who you're scared of will see you're going and maybe choose not to go because you've already claimed it. You know,
It's
you hate going.
conflict resolution
It's also
and
just-
avoidance.
well, also just like being able to be like, I wonder what the events are tonight, and going to the events section.
I still do that.
Just being able to see them. You know,
Yeah.
they're all on Instagram now. That's like how most people.
I don't like the
Through
Instagram
stories.
Like I don't like
Yeah.
how
Which
that-
is it's terrible.
Because they disappear, and then
yeah,
it's like,
it's not
alright,
good.
and
when
like-
is this show? I either got to screenshot
Shout out
it or
Undercurrent
like,
Minneapolis for
And
literally
then
posting every
page
single
For
event
posting
every
all
single
the-
day.
Yeah,
Love Undercurrent.
yeah, and then also like even if it's not in a story, it's usually on a post where another picture is like the first thing that you see on the feed.
Yeah.
So you have to like scroll in the specific post to actually. I mean, not all the time, but
Yeah.
the amount of times I've seen the post that it's just like an artist's face and then the flyer and they're like face pick for algorithm, come to the show.
yeah.
It's like if this caption has been the caption for how many musicians' photos, maybe the algorithm isn't working for event promo.
It isn't.
Like,
Because honestly, I remember there's been many times where I like comparatively look at our analytics, and it's like, damn, if our faces aren't in the picture, like it shows it to a fourth of this amount of people.
yeah,
It's like you're really fighting with like AI to like
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
you
I
have to
thought I had
trick AI
do
into thinking that
podcasts.
ChatGPT.
Okay, we're detouring.
Oh, and then currently, I kind of similarly to Al, I have a lot of different like music, things to like fill my cup, and I've kind of been like branching out into doing more like things that I've never done before, or like kind of exercising a different part of my brain because that's been really cool. I like to doodle. I like to like embroider. I also like making collages, but I don't do it very often because I don't have the time. And I'm like, and due to that, I'm not as like proficient in it as I would say with music. But I appreciate it and I enjoy it.
That's all that matters.
And that's all that matters. Yeah.
All right, so it starts with the beginning of our musical
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah.
I really don't think that I think The Rock chose me. You know, that's just really what I think at this point.
Bugsy.
I'm not really. I'm not gonna go with like a lot of semantics about
Dwayne
exactly what
himself?
happened. I just don't even. You know, it's gotten to the point. I've been in a lot of different bands over the course of my life. You know, and so like the memory and like the order of events, just like it's not even important at this point. It's just kind of something that I've been doing, and I keep doing it, and it really, I don't know.
I mean, you look like you'd play guitar. In a
Yeah,
band.
that's kind of the thing. Well, this is like a big part of it. I was young, and I mean, I was like probably like.
Blue hair.
I mean, the blue hair was one phase, but in general, like my mother and my family members just couldn't get me to cut my hair, and it wasn't because I wanted to be any certain way. I just really didn't want to do it. And then I like learned about people who play music, and I was like, okay, maybe this is what.
This is why I don't want
This
to
is
cut
why
my
I don't
hair.
want to cut my hair.
My destiny.
Exactly.
Exactly like David.
Maybe I'm a shwedo.
It just made sense, you know? So that's kind of what the deal was, you know? And, like, you know, a big part of the reason that I, like, even, like, not met you, but, like, talked to you is because just, like, you and me have just kind of been around.
Yeah.
You know? So...
Scenesters.
The power of being around is so strong.
Yeah.
It is.
In this city especially,
Like,
because
yeah.
it's this fucking
If you show
big.
up,
Yeah.
Someone's gonna talk to you.
And I
make
think
podcasts out of that shit.
similarly to other members in Bugsy, like, music is, like, my main medium when it comes to art. Like,
You're a gamer.
Oh,
We
can
can't-
you
I don't
tell?
want-
That's
And a
different.
harpist.
That's not creative. I'm
It is
not.
creative.
All right. I'm
Great
just.
characters.
It's not
Y'all
creative.
just tried to pull him in like 5 different directions in like 2 seconds. Like,
I play music, and I have other hobbies, and I'm not gonna go into them right this minute, right now. And and you know, similarly to other members of Bugsy, like I do music in this context, but there are a lot of other contexts that I play music in, and for now, I'm going to call them schemes. I'm scheming.
Ooh.
I'm a professional schemer.
Yeah.
And you guys will learn about those whenever I feel like letting you learn about them.
Griffin solo episode.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm around. That's another big thing. I'm a pretty hardcore skater.
So true.
I watched this man fucking skate in the snow.
In the
a couple
snow.
weeks ago.
In the snow. If we have any clips of that, we gotta put them up.
I am gonna put him up.
Well, something tells me I'm not gonna be able to skateboard home tonight. I just kind of want to skate, you know? I just really kind of do. It's still fall, baby! But yeah, and so, you know, that's another thing is, like, I'm around, you know? Like, if you live in the Twin Cities, you've probably seen me skating around and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sometimes people text me and be like, I saw Griffin skating today.
Yeah.
It's like, yo,
Sometimes,
I'm sure you did.
sometimes people text me and they're like, I saw you skating and I called out to you and you said nothing in return or something like that. You just ignored
didn't hear
me.
you.
I'm
We're all
sorry.
rolling past. I'm busy.
No, I legitimately feel bad because there's always people who are like, man, I think you're really cool and I never hang out with you. But, you know, there's a lot of folks like that in the Twin Cities.
Sucks when you're too cool to hang out with everyone who wants to hang
that's
out
not
with
what
you.
it is. That's not what
That's
it
what happens
is.
when you're the most
Doing
famous
a
barista
guitar,
in
being a
South
skater,
Minneapolis.
and a guitarist and a gamer. It's a busy life.
And a
Yeah.
most
We
famous
will not
barista
be
in
talking
South
about the other
Minneapolis.
hobbies of mine. But I also do coffee stuff. You know, a lot of us do. It's great. The coffee life also chose me. I did not do. You know, it's just kind of.
Just happened.
Yeah.
You also look like a barista.
I'm dust in the wind. I go where it takes me.
I am.
Lovely.
I am a nepo baby. My dad's in a local band. Yeah, they're called the 99ers. He was in a band called Superman Crow that did play Best New Bands like 20 years ago at First Ave.
Yep.
I'm not actually a nepo baby. But
Emily
my dad
works
is
very
in local
hard.
bands, and he plays the drums. And I think the first time I performed was actually like with his band for like a Ramones tribute show, and I sang with his band. And like his band is all like dads or men dad aged, and like I remember being like, wow, I'm so cool. But then I had to leave really early because it was 21 plus, and they're like, you cannot let a child into Lee's Liquor Lounge. And my dad was like, but my kid is really cool. And I was like, look at me, I was wearing a leather jacket, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Home songs, I'm bad.
I was like, I'm singing I Want to Be Your Boyfriend by the Ramones. Like, please. Also a prophecy. That's gay.
Hell yeah.
Some gay shit.
I can see you looking young in a leather jacket at
Right.
Lee's Liquor Lounge looking gay.
Yeah,
Like-
I've seen that picture. I haven't,
really,
but I
was
have.
wearing sunglasses too. I was
Oh,
trying to look
yeah.
like Joey Ramone.
Like the fringe.
But
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
like not cool looking sunglasses.
We really were all a bunch of like classic rock ass loving children.
But I loved the Ramones. I loved Kiss. I loved.
Not to put
Oh
Al
my-
on the spot, but you did mention Ozzy
Ozzy.
already. But like the way our elementary school gym teacher used to fry this man Al for Ozzy shit.
Really?
Bro, Bro.
Subscribe to Joby F. Randrup on YouTube. I'm gonna throw his channel up real quick.
He has a page.
Like,
Oh.
man.
He was on it early. Like, he was literally, like, talking to me about YouTube in 2010. Like, yeah, I made, like, 4 pennies off YouTube last month. And I was like,
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Oh my
it's like
God.
2010. Anyway.
Crazy shit.
Yeah, I really liked playing songs, singing mostly. I didn't think I was good at guitar. I did like school rock, summer camp stuff. But I kind of, that's actually like how we met. I kind of sucked at guitar and I felt really embarrassed about it. And I was joined a ska band that wasn't really a ska band.
Oh.
And then I joined
I love ska.
the after ska band.
And they totally used the same songs that we wrote, but that's fine. I'm not mad about it. It was like
There
15
was a
years ago, whatever.
pre-diffuser.
It's called Locomotion, but we don't need to get into it.
Locomotive.
I forgot what it was called. It doesn't even matter. But out of that came Bruce Violet, which was like the band I was in high school, and that was the first time I like actually had to play guitar because I was the guitar player. And like I'd spent my whole like, middle school cover band years turning my amp all the way down. I mean my guitar all the way down and pretending like it wasn't working. So that couldn't fly anymore. Like I had to figure it out, and I had to figure it out quick. Because like for like the perfect storm, like we were really funny because we were 15 years old and we would sing like asshole and 3-part harmony, but like we were not gets to play the main room good yet because I was so scared to play guitar. But then we got really cool shows and I kind of felt like it was like a combination of imposter syndrome, but also like, hey, you are about to play a very big show. You have to like know how to play a power chord. So it's like a combination of me feeling insecure about my abilities, but also like me kind of getting opportunities that were like way above what I was capable of doing that made me be like, well, I literally don't have a choice.
Yeah,
like I can't say no to this, and
Trial by
I have
fire.
said yes, and I can't do a bad job at this specific thing. So I kind of just like threw myself into it, and I was like, I have to like not be bad at this anymore. Not in a like self-deprecating way, just like in a very real, like I had to like figure out how to not be scared.
Mm.
And then I started rocking out. And we played less shows as time went on. I feel very, very, very lucky of a lot of things that band did because that, like, made me go from feeling like, oh, I'm someone who likes to play music, but it's never going to happen, to like, oh, this is something I could do.
Like, I'm playing
Yeah.
the show.
Right. And it was
the
also
show.
a lot of people that we were playing with. I was playing with a lot of people that were, like, 5 to 10 years older than me. And they really, like, put into my head, like, kind of some more like how to run a band and business type stuff. I remember it was like way past my bedtime and I was supposed to go home, and we played a show with like Kitten Forever and the venue wasn't paying us, and I was like, I don't really care about getting paid, but like I think it was Corey from Kitten Forever like slams her fists at the bar and goes, where the fuck is our money? They need to go home, they have school tomorrow. And I was like, holy shit, I don't have to just kiss everyone's ass all the time and be polite for just being there. Like, I feel like I learned a lot in that. And then, similarly, most of my creative projects, I'm kind of, like, all over the place. But a lot of it ends up, like, I feel like I always need something to be working towards. So a lot of times, a lot of my creative stuff ends up just, like, encompassing Bugsy unintentionally. Because I just, like, can't really, like, relax and just, like, make an art project. So usually I'll, like, if I'm crafting, I'm, like, making band and music stuff. But I feel like I kind of creatively do
Emily does everything.
I do a lot of
does do everything.
I do a lot of stress crafting and fun stuff. I think this is like weird to say as like a creative thing, but I am like kind of like interested and fixated to a certain extent on like organizing and figuring out like systems and stuff. So even though this isn't like an artistic thing, it feels related to it, like figuring out how to package merch so it's the most efficient system, or like figuring out how to.
I mean, it's groundwork for the project.
Yeah, I used to have an alter
ego.
ego.
Music, it's Bugsy.
Yeah, I used to have an alter ego that would like book for us, who wasn't us. I pretended like it was our agent. Like, because I was like, no one was responding to me. So I made a fake email account of someone else who was like our agent.
I do remember
Reaching out
this.
on behalf of Bugsy.
Yeah,
I am
that's
like,
crazy.
I'm like, Tom, or whatever the fuck. on behalf of Bugsy, and I actually, like, booked us some, like, shit that way, and, like, there was a few times where, like, I'd be communicating, and they just, like, thought I was, like, an actual, like, agent, and they would respond, and I would, like, Google, what does a press release mean? And then I'd be like, okay, now I have to figure out how to make a press release.
Emily is a creative problem solver.
So it was, like, a lot of,
sponsors like that.
But now I feel confident in my ability to the point where I can, like, email from the Bugsy account.
And it's...
And it works. And it's from me. But there was a while where I, like, had some alter egos going on, and it would get a little confusing, because I would forget, like, who said what, and who I was supposed to be, and I
I can put you in touch with our merch person, and then you, like, go
Yeah.
change hats.
Yeah,
and
you
come
put on
back
like
and-
sunglasses and a mustache, and you're like,
It's me. It's me, Emily, but with a man's name,
Emil.
so that you answer me.
Oh.
Name's Emmett.
Longest answer to one question.
Hey, man, it's all good.
Yeah.
What time are we at the moment?
28.
Alright, we'll get into kind of wrap-up stuff. Generally, what would you, like, want people to know about Bugsy? I know that's a super broad question, but, like, what do you think sets you apart and, like, makes this band unique and... or just something you like about being part of this group?
One thing that I really like about being a part of Bugsy, and, like, this was, like, a slow, like, gradual thing, but, like, these motherfuckers, like, really are, like, some of my best friends, like, on, like, the whole planet, and, like, I was just
My downstairs neighbor.
I was just watching, like, the Little Brother documentary last night, and, like, they were just like, there was, like, one point in the documentary where they were, like, there's, like, something happened to Fonte specifically, and he had to tell, like, his, like, partner, like, Pooh, and he was like, yeah, you're the first person I've told because, like, you're the only one who could, like, possibly understand it all. And it's, like, in that respect, it's, like, I can, like, tell people about, like, what tour was like and, like, all of that stuff, but, like, no one was there except for y'all. And, like, I'm not even trying to sound like a dick or, like, pretentious when I say that, but it's more just, like, no one, like, knows, and it's, like, over the course of the last, like, 4 years, like, the collective time that we have, like, we deadass have probably spent, like, 6 consecutive months together, like, over the last, like, I mean, but, like, for real, and it's, like,
dude.
I don't know, I really just, like, love...
Slept in the same bed.
Yeah, so many times. Like, I had literally, like, put the aloe on your back.
I literally
massages.
It's been real out here.
I like
choked on
shaved and took a piss in the same bathroom you were taking a shower in because we just didn't have time. We had to.
That actually probably didn't need to happen. At that point, it was just comfortability. I was like, hey, Griffin! Like,
I was like, I
urgent. It was urgent.
but that's what I'll say is, like, I do, like, really love everyone a lot, and it's super fun, and I really appreciate anyone who's, like, given us, like, any time over the last 4 years, like, been to a show, listened to our songs, like, purchased anything from us, like, literally, like, just said hi. It really means a lot, and I never thought that my life would look like this, and not that, like, that's because I do a lot of very normal shit too, but, like, I never thought that I would be, like, 4 years deep into a band that has kept going and kept getting, like...
It feels like the stakes always get a little higher.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Bugsy in the streets, Bugsy in the sheets, Bugsy forever.
So real.
That is epic.
Eggnog, egg salad.
Yeah, that's been our Facebook description for years. I've changed it, and it keeps changing itself back.
That's what it's meant to be. No, I feel like I'm just going to repeat everything that Al said in a different way, but no, I think it's like a thing where it's like, I think about it a lot because it was like, the reason I reached out to Emily was because my therapist was like, take a risk, do it, why not? And I was like, okay, and I didn't think I was good at music until I started playing in Bugsy. I didn't think I would be able to do it until I started playing in Bugsy, and I'm, like, really grateful for all the opportunities that I had, and, like, in a really horrible case scenario where, like, tomorrow we broke up, I would be satisfied with what we did. in a very real way, as much as it's like, this is something that I want to do forever. And it's the only thing I know I want to do forever. So my life revolves around Bugsy and nothing else.
Literally,
Like,
bro, it's
my
like
job, no.
like my life has revolved around Wednesday night practices for the last like 4 years.
Oh my
like,
Yeah,
God.
except this semester.
yeah,
Sorry.
except for the last 2
I
months.
miss so much Survivor for this band.
Dude, I
Yeah, sorry.
Emily?
Yeah,
closing
it's
remarks?
pretty epic. I feel like we all bring stuff that sounds differently together, and the songs I write are different than the songs that Bugsy. It comes out one end me, it comes out the other end Bugsy. Like if I bring a song in, it comes in one way, which is like whatever I'm doing in my room, and then it gets digested and like
Bugsy poop.
becomes Bugsy poop.
Yeah. Little bug
Not
jerkins.
like a poop, more like an egg. It gets laid as an egg, and then it hatches.
Is that
That's
where
the
the egg
EP.
salad comes from?
Oh, yeah.
The Bugsy egg.
Eggnog, egg salad. That was just what I think that was before it was even Bugsy. Formerly known as Bugsy's dead name.
Y'all got an upcoming show in just over a month from the day this comes out, January 19th.
Oh, yeah.
Where is this at and who is it?
Green
with?
Room, Anita Velveeta's tour kickoff show, I believe. And I
Shout
can't
out.
remember who else is playing off
Dad
the top
bod.
of my head.
Dad bod.
They'll have a flyer. I'll put it up. But, well, sweet. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I was
you for
super
having
excited
us.
to do this one.
Shout
5
out
people's
Ponder Media.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
not going to be like this every time. But you can just watch this one again. So, do that. Hope y'all found something either interesting, informative, or insightful. And I remembered to say that.
Yep.
I didn't forget this time, and I'm very proud of myself. But check
We're
out...
proud of you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. No, it means a lot. Check out Now I Spend All of My Time Alone on whatever streaming service you like, and also keep an eye out for cassettes. And if you haven't
CDs.
listened yet, that's an issue that you're going to need to solve for yourself. And that's going to be about it for today.
Ponder Media!
Bye!
Out.
You are watching Ponder Media.